Hello everyone, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today I'm going to tackle a subject that I have never actually tackled on the channel, at least really more directly, and that is the subject of separating art from the artist. Now, this has been a subject that I've been meaning to cover for a while. Really, the closest I ever been into covering this subject was my Donda 2 review from 2022, where I was really making it obvious that a lot of Kanye's actions around the time of that album was really affecting my overall listening experience for that album, and I, in forth, hated it for it. But I never actually was making it very clear on my stance on the subject. But yesterday I was scrolling through Instagram and stuff like that, looking at dumb reels or whatever, and I came across this Instagram reel where this guy was talking about the subject, and I'm gonna just play the Instagram reel very quickly. It's only about like a minute long, and here it is.
Separate the art from the artist is not some blanket rule you apply to everybody. It depends on what the artist actually did. If an artist says something offensive, controversial, reckless, or politically inflammatory, that may make them arrogant, ignorant, or provocative. Fine. Criticize it, argue with it, but words that offend you are not the same as acts that destroy lives. That's where people blur categories. Someone saying wild or disturbing things for shock, ego, or provocation is one thing. That can exist separately from the work. But when somebody has committed real violence, abuse, rape, murder, predation, especially when it bleeds into the art itself, when the art is entangled with confession, glorification, or evidence, there is no clean separation. At that point, the art is not detached from the harm. The harm is in it. You can separate flawed humans from their art. You cannot morally sanitize atrocities by calling it just art. There's a difference between controversial expression and monstrous behavior. One may offend conscience, the other violates humanity. And if people can't tell the difference, that right there is not nuance. That's moral confusion.
This has to be easily one of the worst videos on this subject that I've seen in a while. Now, I would like to give this guy the benefit of the doubt that he's not actually trying to excuse the shit that Kanye has been saying for the last couple of years, because, hey, he didn't murder and, do this horrible, heinous action towards a 14-year-old, so that makes Kanye still a good guy and stuff like that. I hope that's not what he's actually trying to say. I hope that his point is actually more nuanced to that, because the comments are reflecting something a lot more differently, as I'm seeing a lot of people in the comments saying how Kanye is right, a lot of subtle anti-Semitism rhetoric that Kanye fans have been spewing since 2022 and shit like that. Really nothing new. However, what I really dislike about this video, and I'm about to just get into it, is how much Ye fans will downplay a lot of the shit that Kanye has been saying that's just, they're just controversial opinions. They might trigger some people, they're a bit provocative and stuff like that. As if we're still in 2005 where Kanye is still saying that George Bush doesn't care about black people. Let's call a spade a fucking spade for once. What Kanye has been saying is just straight up anti-Semitism. We're not going to do a Charlie Kirk where we're just going to treat the full-on points of hating a group as just having a differing opinion. We're not going to do that, If someone is being hateful towards a group of people, they're being hateful towards a group of people. We're not going to change it to just having a differing opinion. And what I dislike even more about it is that this guy is either, ignorant towards the fact that, yes, Kanye has indeed bled some of his opinions into his music. Vultures 1 was originally going to have an album cover that was drawn by an anti-Semitic artist. Kanye was, putting a lot of anti-Semitic rhetoric into his own music in Vultures 1 that a lot of people seem to kind of just skim over. And also, not only that, Kanye made fucking Cousins. Kanye made World War III. He also made the HH song. How is that not bleeding into the music? If you're asking someone to separate the art for the artist for this instant, you might as well just ask them to put their hands over the ears and scream la 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 la. How is this not bleeding into the music? And that's what I dislike more about this subject, is that it's less about trying to separate the art from the artist and more just trying to come up with any excuses possible to just listen to an artist from someone who has done terrible things. Now, yes, is saying hateful rhetoric on the same level as what David did? No, but is it still bad? Yes. I don't know why people like to suddenly try to act like they're more morally complex because they look at situations more differently, as if we cannot just look at them all as bad. Are they equally as bad? No. But is it still bad? Yes. It's sometimes kind of simple like that. I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to a song from a guy who literally supported a fucking dictator who is responsible for the deaths of millions of people whose hateful views are still used today for racist and anti-Semitic acts. I'm not fucking agreeing with that. I'm sorry. I don't want to listen to a song of a guy giving head to his own fucking cousin. Is it that hard to understand? Now, something that I find very ironic in this video is that near the ending of it, he brings up how having a controversial expression isn't on the same level as someone committing acts of violence and stuff like that, which I do think it is kind of funny considering the fact that Kanye admitted to hitting women and is currently in a lawsuit for allegedly sexually assaulting and strangling a model. I'm sorry, how is that not on the same level? Like, what? I never thought I would be in a timeline where Ye fans would be on the same level as literal Charlie Kirk supporters, where having a literal hateful views the same as having a differing opinion. It's generally kind of concerning and frustrating how over time, the more that Kanye just drops more music, the more his hateful rhetoric just gets downplayed over time, you know? He did the same shit during 2017, I believe, when he said how black people should get over racism. He did the same thing during the album of Ye, where he was downplaying a lot of the MAGA supporting shit, and also the fact of saying that 400 years of slavery was a choice, you know. And currently Kanye fans are doing the same thing once again with this album of Bully. It's literally people downplaying a lot of shit he said in the last 3 to 4 years, and it's again very, very concerning and frustrating because, you know, it's very easy to kind of sway the people these days when your name is literally Kanye West and you made great albums. That's pretty much the cheat code. Once you've made a couple of great records in people's eyes, you can pretty much do anything you want, and the second that you fall under controversy, you can just drop a project that's like semi-decent and everyone be like, oh, you know what? Our GOAT is back, when in actuality, the album is generally shit. I'm sorry. Bully was ass. It's easily one of the worst albums I've heard all year. It's generally kind of bad. Like, the mixing is awful. Kanye's rapping is below subpar. A lot of the features aren't really that good. There's really no fucking instances where I see myself generally coming back to any of the songs on the album. It's generally one of the worst albums I've heard all year. But to a lot of Kanye fans, and, you know, let me just use the word already, to a lot of dick riders, this album is fucking goated. You know, they're seeing this as like, oh, our GOAT is back, our king is back, when in actuality, he's still fucking washed up. Overall, people have no fucking spines at all when it comes to their favorite artists. Just like the title of my favorite Peggy project, all my heroes are cornballs. And it's unfortunate that no one has caught on to that a lot of their favorite heroes and artists are indeed fucking idiots or sometimes just downright terrible people. And it's okay to admit that. Just like how Aiden Ross can go on stream and call Doechii a bitch and act like she's one of the worst people imaginable. However, he'll stand like 10 toes deep for Kanye West and completely suck his fucking dick. Like, I swear, some of y'all are indeed doing tricks for this fucking guy. This guy doesn't even know y'all exist, and y'all are treating this guy like he's a fucking god or something like that. It's generally kind of concerning. Have the same fucking standards that y'all do for people like Doechii and Chappell Roan for shit that isn't even that big of a deal, and do it for artists who indeed are spreading hateful fucking rhetoric. Did Kanye murder and do the heinous acts against a 14-year-old? No. But does that mean that he's still a good person? No. Like, he's still a shitty person for the shit he's been doing for the last 3 fucking years. And it's kind of crazy that people will undermine a lot of the shit he's done and undermine also some of the shit he's also admitted, like giving head to his fucking cousin and beating women. How is that not monstrous behavior? So what really is it? Is it separating art from the artist, or it's just wanting some excuse of listening to your favorite album? Do you want a warm blanket with a nice cup of joe and someone like cuddling you and whispering to your ear like, oh, it's okay, little Timothy, it's okay, you're listening to Kanye West, it's okay? Like, what the fuck do y'all want? I swear, it's the more I hear about this subject, the more it's less about separating art from the artist. Yeah, I think that will be it for today. Hopefully y'all got something out of this video. What is your thoughts on it? What is your thoughts just in general? And yeah, hope you had a wonderful time. Hope you had a wonderful day. And yeah, see ya.